Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Bed Tech Show, where your hosts, Ben and Ethan, are here to share some exciting tech news here at bedtime. We're excited. We've got a great show for you all tonight. So let's go ahead and get started with our first article. Here we have a new rebrand for Twitter, and Elon Musk is going with his love of the letter X, and I guess it is now X. It's no longer Twitter. Elon Musk rebranded the app, and looks like we no longer have tweets. They are just posts, which just seems like your generic social media platform now. And in line with his SpaceX, we have X. It's a simple name change. Elon Musk did have some trouble with Apple and the iOS store getting this on there because of the simple letter. However, guess it was approved now because I've seen the update on my phone. It's now X, and it's really just gone a big name change, and with its active users, looks like now we are going to have a rebrand and a new era of X. So with that, I wanted to get your opinion. Do you think that this rebrand is a good image for Twitter, or do you think this is just kind of another marketing scheme and something that might be the downfall of the social media app?
Good question. I understand. So I'll give my short answer first. Personally, I think it is a bad rebrand. And
I concur.
yeah, I understand why they did it because there's so much bad blood with Twitter and the situation that happened with the takeover and the back and forth and Elon coming in and changing things and firing a lot of people and changing policy and paying for, the subscription model for the checkbox. And there's just a lot. And so I can understand why Elon is thinking, let's just refresh. Let's get a new brand going. Let's just rebrand it. But I think there's a lot of brand value lost when he changed from Twitter and tweeting. When your company has its name or something on associated with your brand is a regular daily verb that people use, Googling. Oh yeah, I Googled it. I tweeted. He's losing that.
He's losing that. Yeah.
So much more. And I think it's a really bad rebrand. And to be X, black and white, I don't know. It's just kind of.
It seems very generic.
Yeah. That's like a classic, let's trendy. Everyone's hopping on that with a color scheme. I feel like kind of like a person. I feel like a frat bro who just graduated college is starting a company right now.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I feel like. He's like, let's name it X, black and white, and I think it's a bad take. I have some bad blood in regards to rebrands because I was part of a company that rebranded for pretty much the same reason. There was, bad blood with the current company name, and then we rebranded with an X in our name, and it's just all this money wasted for nothing. So maybe I have a bias, but I'd love to hear your thoughts.
I'm kind of the same opinion. I'm also with a company now that is rebranding and spending millions and millions of dollars, being the largest employer in Utah and rebranding everything. And with all the sponsorship deals, like you go to sporting events, you see their old logo, and I'm like, they're going to have to pay to change that. So I get the whole rebranding thing. It's a huge gamble, and I don't think they did it right here.
Yeah.
It seems very generic, and brought up a good point. They're losing a lot of goodwill that they built with the other brand with this. Like it's essentially gone. There's no more tweets. That verb is going to be gone, which is sad
Yeah.
because it's a pretty good verb.
Yeah. It was so good for the brand. It was
Yeah.
so good for the brand. Everyone knew what you were talking about when you say, yeah, I tweeted. Like they
Mhm.
knew the platform, they knew what that meant, the length, they knew like a snippet. And now I posted. Well, where did you post? Did you post a video? Did you post a picture? Oh no, I posted on X. Oh, so you posted like a snippet of your opinion on something. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. There's going to be too much explanation that has to go on for that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Uh,
like, it just seems like this whole thing was kind of a shotgun wedding approach. Like, it doesn't seem very thought out. I mean, even when they tried to put their new logo on their building, they didn't even pull the permits for that, so they weren't able to do that. So they had to just put a laser.
Take it down.
Yeah, they had to take it down. They had to put a laser on the building just to have their new logo. It just doesn't seem like it was as smooth as it could have been.
Yeah.
And now, now I guess we're Twitter is retired, and now we have to live with X. I don't know.
It's hard to say that.
Yeah, it just seems disappointing coming out like that
Yep.
it's the new X.
Yeah. I posted on X today.
It just doesn't have the same cachet.
I tweeted. Oh,
Yeah. Yeah.
nice. I know
Everybody
exactly
knows
what you're
that.
talking about.
Yeah.
Oh, it's disappointing. I agree. Um, yeah, like you said, like a shotgun wedding, it's so reactionary. Everything just seems so reactionary. Almost like from the very get-go when Elon tweeted like should I buy Twitter? And it was like almost like a joke. And he's like, oh, maybe I will. And he like goes through with it, but it just turns into this huge headache. And now he's like,
Yeah.
everything's so reactionary. There wasn't an actual strategic plan on how to come in and buy it out and make it better and build it up again and improve it. I do like the fact that it's not as regulated and so stringent on, in my opinion, previously it was very biased
I,
regulation.
I agree.
So
Yeah.
there's that benefit. And I see a lot of it now on updated Instagram and on thread, whatever Instagram Meta's version of Twitter is, their thread.
Mhm.
There's a lot of like just regulated posts that shouldn't be regulated. They're like
Right.
blocked or there's a warning and a black screen that says, this contains false information. Then I watch the video or read the thread and I think, not really. This is more like an opinion.
Mhm.
But so from that aspect on X, I like it, but the rebrand I think has just been bad.
Yeah. And now, like, now that he's done this, it's not like he can go back. And otherwise, that would ruin all credibility with whatever's
Oh yeah.
left.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
this is kind of something that now seems like we're stuck with it. And I don't know. It's going to take a while to get used to, but I guess so is Meta.
Yeah.
So
Meta was, yeah. And I just
yeah,
don't feel like there was any strategy behind X, you know?
yeah,
Like no catchy phrases, no like there just wasn't strategy. Because
yeah.
if you're gonna spend that much money on rebranding and have that much of an impact on your brand, you should have a really solid strategy about it.
I agree. I'm also of the opinion that Elon Musk needs a chief operating officer in every company that he does. I I think he's extremely intelligent. However, he needs someone he needs a chief operating officer.
Yeah.
And I think like if Tesla had that, there it would be a much better company than it is. Not saying that it's terrible or anything, but it could be even better.
Yeah.
So he needs one of those.
I
He
agree.
needs a boss or a boss, one of the two.
Yep. Yeah, I agree. Spreading too thin.
Yeah. But it is what it is, and now we have X. So maybe in another 10 years we'll get something new. Maybe we'll get two letters instead.
Is it going to be XX or XY? That's the real question.
Ooh.
But
There, it might
then you can call it whatever you want.
yeah, then you can call it whatever you want. But XY might be too limiting. We might need to add some more letters.
That's true. You're like, the DNA of this company is the same, but the brand, it can be whatever you guys want it to be. Whatever you're feeling for the day, that's the name. That's the brand.
That's the name of it.
Maybe I'm getting a little too on thin ice here. What I'm talking about. Let's move on. I don't want to
That
get
might be its
myself
own
in
hot
hot
take.
water. Yeah, that's a hot take. Move along.
Uh,
Move along.
well, speaking of things that are finally moving along, looks like Sony has finally agreed to a 10-year deal with Call of Duty. This is a little bit
Yay.
older, but something that we've talked a lot about here on the channel. And in a surprising move, Microsoft finally landed a deal with Sony to have Call of Duty on the PlayStation platform for at least 10 years. It's a binding agreement to keep Call of Duty on PlayStation, ending the bitter battle between the companies. Allegedly, I'm pretty sure that there's still going to be some battles that will go on, but this has been a highly publicized battle between the two companies since the proposed acquisition of Blizzard in January of 2022. Wow, it's surprising that like that announcement was so long ago and the deal still hasn't closed.
Yep.
But now there's a 10-year commitment, and Sony isn't the only company that Microsoft has done this with. They've done it with Nintendo. I know they tried to do it with Steam. However, Steam declined at the time. So it does look like Microsoft is attempting to ensure that Call of Duty is on multi-platform for the next foreseeable future for the next 10 years. However, I wanted to get your take on this. Do you think that striking this deal is going to have an effect on the future of this, I guess, this acquisition? Or do you think it's really inconsequential to the overall scope of the deal and having it go through?
Um, I think Microsoft is just trying to do whatever they can to close the deal. I think they're trying to do whatever they can to refrain or stop Sony from blocking it consistently and just say, like, listen, guys, we're going to have this go through no matter what. What is it going to take? And I, you know, Microsoft has approached Sony multiple times in the past about this, and they've put up blockers. But I think Sony's starting to get some bad PR on how they're handling the case. And so long term effect, I don't think it's going to have that big of an impact. Maybe after the 10-year deal, Microsoft says, hey, you know what? We've actually had some bad blood from 10 years ago. So we're going all exclusive. Sorry, guys. And that's
Maybe
kind
some
of fair.
Taylor Swift bad blood.
Dude, yeah. Definitely some Taylor Swift bad blood. For all of our Swifties out there, hope you guys are able to go to her concert. I'm really jealous if you are. And so, yeah, I think Microsoft is long term. I can see them going the exclusive route, but right now, I think this was a deal, an option that they've offered before. So I don't think it's having any negative impact on their strategy. I think they know what they're doing. They've been trying to complete this deal for a long time, and they're really smart about it. So if anything, they're doing this just to appease the community, the gamers, so that everyone feels as though they're going to have Call of Duty for a while, and try and make Sony as happy as they possibly can. And then come 10 years, we'll see if there's a fallout or if there's any issues, but I don't think there will be. I think if anything, Microsoft is just going to be pretty petty and make it exclusive, but that's for their benefit. I don't think there's any negative impact here.
Yeah.
Do you agree, or what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think that I don't think that this will hurt the deal in any way. If anything, this does help it. I guess it stops hurdles from Sony, to the point that, it'll allow the deal to close, and hopefully this acquisition will be complete. I think it's a good way that Microsoft is showing a little bit of goodwill by saying that, hey, we are going to make good on our promise, and we are going to put this on multiple consoles and multiple avenues of people to access the game for the next 10 years. So I think it's pretty cool. I think it's a good thing, and I just looking for the deal to finally close so that we can get all the Call of Duties on Game Pass.
Yeah, same. I want it on Game Pass ASAP. The one thing that shocked me though was I saw on a lot of different posts about the deal. There's a lot of anti-Microsoft. A lot of people hate this deal.
Yeah,
a lot of people hate it. And I was actually kind of surprised by it.
Like it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, because we play Xbox. But at the same time, like, I was kind of shocked by how much hate there was, and a lot of people throwing out the word monopoly. And I don't know if these people just don't know what a monopoly is, and they just like to throw that word around because it's easy to make that claim. But in my mind, I'm like, monopoly? What are you talking about, a monopoly? It's going to be on platforms for years. And not only that, Activision Blizzard, yes, is huge. But that's not like the only game on the market. And it's not like Sony's not doing the same thing of buying up developers and making their games exclusive. I mean, I don't know. I just was kind of surprised. Okay, yes, Microsoft is a massive giant. And yes, this is a massive deal. And they're taking huge games off the table potentially in 10 years. Or they're leaving Call of Duty on for 10 years and taking the other games off the table. Sure, that sucks. I can see why people would be pissed about that. But I think if you're upset about Microsoft, you can't be super stoked about PlayStation and Sony either. They do very similar things.
They do the same thing. Yeah. And my theory that the reason that Microsoft is doing this, and it's not even for Call of Duty. I mean, yes, Call of Duty is pretty big in their portfolio, but it is not their number one generating thing. I really think Microsoft is in this for Candy Crush.
Candy Crush. You think Candy Crush?
Yeah, because with so many microtransactions for that, and being on a mobile platform where pretty much everybody has a mobile device, I'm pretty sure Candy Crush is like one of their top performing assets at Blizzard.
You talked about this actually in a previous one. So not World of Warcraft, not Overwatch, not Diablo, not Call of Duty, not StarCraft, Candy Crush.
Candy Crush.
You've talked about this before. And I was like, I don't know if he's being serious or if he's joking, but I don't know the numbers on Candy Crush. Maybe Candy Crush is just insane when it comes to microtransactions and stuff like that. But I wonder if there's I want to say there's like highest grossing.
Let's see, revenue of Candy Crush. As of 2022, according to this Google article,
Candy Crush is number 2.
Generated almost 607 million in revenue.
Yes. So I'm looking at a different article on Money Inc. Skylanders, Spyro's Adventure over $1 billion. Overwatch 1.4 billion. And I don't know where they're getting these numbers. let's see here. I don't know if they have any footnotes or anything on it. 3 is World of Warcraft. 2 is Candy Crush. And number 1 is Call of Duty.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, but still, I did not
And
expect Candy Crush to beat out those other games.
yeah, I
Dude.
wouldn't either. But you know, I remember when it came out and it was like the rage of everybody on their phones that was playing a game.
Yeah,
Everybody was
and
playing Candy Crush.
the microtransactions, and they said the ads that are played on
Oh
the app
yeah.
give them a ton of money. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
So
Microsoft was like, guys, Sony, listen, honestly, we'll let you have Call of Duty for next 10 years. We'll reevaluate the deal. Maybe do another 10 years. But we're taking Candy
yeah,
Crush for all it's got.
yeah.
There's like, you're not touching Candy Crush. That's ours. You know?
Yep.
I just granted it's not on place. Well, maybe it is on PlayStation, but it's primarily a mobile phone game, right?
Well, yeah, mobile.
So I think that's
So
actually just so funny that that Candy Crush is up there. I can't believe that actually.
yeah, it's pretty
So,
insane.
valid point there, Ethan, for Candy Crush.
So Microsoft looks like they are going to be moving forward, and Sony is conceding. Good
Yay.
for Microsoft.
Good for Microsoft.
Speaking of Microsoft, looks like they are under the European antitrust investigation over Teams. What do we have
Bad
going
for
on here?
Microsoft.
Yeah,
Yeah.
bad for Microsoft.
Last article, good for Microsoft. This article, bad for Microsoft. So Microsoft bundles a bunch of its products. This is what they do. They dominate the market by doing stuff like this. So we all know Microsoft Suite 365 is pretty dominant when it comes to using your regular day-to-day tools from Word to Excel to your Outlook. Well, they bundle in Teams into this platform, into their product. So when enterprise or small businesses or mid-market businesses, whenever they, install 365, they're getting Microsoft Teams. And so it eliminates the need for these customers to go to the market to look for an intranet or an intra communication software like Slack. That's Salesforce's owned company. That's a competitor to Teams. And because of it, there's a lot of complaints to Microsoft saying, hey, you guys are going around the law to allow for a free market of customers to shop around because you're just embedding this second software that has no relation to, kind of like a utility software. This is like a communication software. You're bundling it. And so as a result, you're kind of impeding on these antitrust laws, and you're not allowing for a fair market to come to play. And so it's in the early stages right now, but there's investigation into it, and they may be liable for breaking these antitrust laws in Europe. And so it'll be interesting to see how this plays out. And there may be an amendment to the law or laws of you can't bundle software that are not like kind. You have to separate them in order for fair market to come to play. And so you might see a bundling of like certain software that are like kind, like work management software or whatever it might be. You get your Excel and your Word and your PowerPoint all together, but then you don't get your Teams. That goes separate into the market, and then companies can go shop around. I do think there is a little bit of not bias, but I do think there's a little bit of like little brother whininess to this. It's like, well, that's not fair. You have so many good products that you're bundling together that it doesn't allow customers to come to me. It's like, well, Microsoft, they're really smart. They've really
Yeah.
built out their product base and they become dominant in the market. Uh, if you want to compete, then try bundling with, other companies and embed your software in there, like the
Yeah, do
Google
something
suite,
different.
like that. Yeah, exactly. Do something different. I can understand why they're complaining about it, but at the same time, in my opinion, it's like, is this somewhat your own fault for not being competitive, or I don't know. So it'll be interesting to see how this plays out. Do you think Microsoft is overstepping the boundaries or trying to beat around the bush or trying to break, you know, bend the laws here? Or do you think they're fair and they're just doing business and this is just a complaint from the other players in the market?
Ooh, that's a great question. I I think that this is a result of Microsoft being really smart and knowing how to make software and add another service within their software that people need and that people will use because it integrates so well. I as unfortunate as it is that, because they're bundling with it, a company is more likely to go with that because it's already comes with a suite that they're paying for,
Mm-hmm.
rather than going with something else. That's unfortunate. However, it just proves that Microsoft is doing it better, and I don't think that Microsoft should be punished for this because they do something better. To me, this is
Yeah.
no different than what Apple does with their ecosystem and how they have, um, everything together with theirs, especially with like iMessage. And, they don't really force people to use iMessage, but it's already baked into their hardware. It's there. It's really convenient for everyone, so people use it. And
Yeah.
you know, uh, Microsoft here isn't preventing other companies from using other services. It's not like they're forcing it on them to use Teams, but it's there and it's really convenient with how well it integrates with the Microsoft suite. So I think that this is just a result of Microsoft doing something very well and capitalizing on how well they can integrate their software together and make it a cohesive ecosystem.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. I see this actually also with many other companies. Another example is Salesforce. I used to work for a company that had we had like a dialer, like a sales dialer that sales teams would use, and they just like dial and leave messages and auto email. Well, Salesforce, like a lot of our clients were using Salesforce. Salesforce came out with another product that they just bundled into their CRM that was a dialer and it was free. And a lot of our clients were like, I'm paying for Salesforce already. I don't really need you guys anymore because I get it for free with my license at Salesforce. So I'm going to Salesforce and then eliminating this cost. And so at the same time of Salesforce complaining that Slack isn't getting, as much attention as Teams is because Teams is bundled, they're on the flip on the other side of their business, they're doing this. They're
Mm-hmm.
already bundling other software with a very high demand software, their CRM, Salesforce. Anyway, so yeah, we see it across multiple companies do this. I think it'll be really interesting to see what the arguments are on both sides, or at least what the argument is from the complaint, and then what Microsoft's defense is. But I agree with you. I don't. It'll be really unless we're missing something. I'd be really hard to see the EU push Microsoft to stop doing this.
Yeah. So I really, yeah, I think that this is, it seems like someone who just wants to be petty is, initiated this investigation rather than there being some actual merit, because
Yeah.
Microsoft isn't the only one that does this. They just may be the biggest that is is doing what they're purporting. But
Yeah.
so Unfortunate for Microsoft that they are in this. Yes, that's a bad Microsoft.
Bad Microsoft.
All right, we have Google, Microsoft, OpenAI, and some other tech industry groups promoting safe AI development. All right, what do we have going on here?
Yeah. So if you aren't aware, there's been a lot of calls for like AI regulation. Elon even asked, AI creators and developers to put a hold on advancement of AI before there's even some kind of regulating body. And so big people from the big tech, they came together and they created this group, um, and they call it the Frontier Model Forum. And they have multiple aspects of their mission, but essentially it's to develop practices for AI safety, promote research into AI risks, and then to publicly share information with governments and the civil society. That's what it says in the second paragraph. And essentially, they're working with policymakers and researchers to essentially put some kind of fence around AI, because right now we're going into this wild west and unknown of AI development. And we don't really know all of the risks. We don't know all of the benefits. We don't know the direction that we could go in, and we don't know what the horizon is leading to with AI. Once we go past what we've already created, where is this leading to? Where are we stumbling upon, and how fast are we going to get there? Because let's be honest, this AI development is going crazy. It's getting super hot, a lot of attention, and people are just progressing it over and over and over again so fast. And so there needs to be some kind of responsibility. And so that's what this forum is. Quote here is companies creating AI technology have a responsibility to ensure that it's safe, secure, and remains under human control. That's from Microsoft President Brad Smith. So this initiative, continuing his quote, this initiative is a vital step to bring the tech sector together in advancing AI responsibly and tackling the challenges so that it benefits all of humanity. So I think what people are scared of is, like low level fears that are probably the most likely to happen is job replacement. People are scared of that. Higher level fears that are probably less likely to happen is Terminator situation, overtake of humanity, robot control,
Mm-hmm.
destruction of humans of all kinds. That's like what we want to avoid. But anyway, cybersecurity, that's another issue. A bunch of other things are listed here. But what are your thoughts on this? Do you think that this is a valid forum? Do you think this is needed? Do you think that this might just be a facade for political gain? Put on your tinfoil hats, everyone. Um,
Ooh,
what are your thoughts here? I'm interested.
that that is that's a great question. Initially I was thinking, this could probably be a good thing. It adds some sort of um, checks and balances to AI and a way of helping it to be a safe tool for humanity. However, I think it might just be a political agenda facade to try and try and purport that this needs to be controlled when maybe it might not need to. What are your thoughts?
Yeah. I, if it was like one company working with the government, I would say, that seems a little off. But because it's a lot of big tech who are competitors in the space, I do think that there is a little bit. I do think there's more. I don't want to say trust, but I think there's more weight to the actual mission because
Yeah,
it's multiple companies coming together. I think there actually is this concern, and they're all trying to uh, avoid any issues and problems in society. Because let's be real, if humanity goes to crap because of AI, these companies go to crap as well, and no one
right.
wants that. they want to keep making money. Their businesses, they want to
Hmm.
continue to have the power that they have. They don't want AI to overrun them. And maybe maybe that is like the forefront. But I think eventually, as with most organizations that have a lot of power and control, there is bias, there's influence, there is ulterior motives and agendas.
Yeah.
And maybe this is a body, call me a conspiracy theorist, maybe this is a body that they can control new developing AI companies that are coming up. They don't want any competitors breaking into the space. So they can put out regulations that benefit them. They can put out regulations that destroy any competition. And these guys have come together and said, hey, we're the big tech. Let's stay the big tech. We don't want any new up and coming AI companies to beat us out or progress faster than us or develop something that we don't know of. So let's put this governing body over it and let's try and, put a little bit of control and oversight on these small guys. So I don't like to think that way. I don't want to think that, but I think there's a possibility.
Yeah,
I think there's
that's
a
a great
possibility.
theory.
Yeah.
Um,
All right, I'll take off my tin hat now.
no, I could see that. I mean, because I know like a lot with big companies, they have a lot of resources when it comes to regulatory uh, regulatory agendas and swaying with their legislative sessions. Because they have so many resources, they can shape regulations and legislation in a way that will benefit them, um, without not without necessarily caring whether that affects other people, because really these businesses are there to make their shareholders money, and that is their number one agenda. um,
Yep.
no matter what they say, whether they say they want to have clean environments, become a zero carbon footprint. Looking at you, Apple. they they are there just to make their shareholders money.
Oh, dude. The zero carbon thing is so dumb. Hey guys, we put so much toxic stuff into the air. Let's be zero carbon footprint by buying trees that are already planted, but those be under our name. So we'd be like, oh, we're putting X amount of CO2 in the air, but we have trees that we bought that were already there, but now we're buying them, so they're ours, so they're offsetting the CO2. We're not reducing the CO2, we're just buying trees that are already there that eat up the CO2.
Yeah,
Dumbest thing ever.
smoke and mirrors game.
Yep. Definitely. Definitely. Literally smoke
Yeah.
and mirrors.
Yes. So, but I think that with these big tech companies, you brought up a good point that because there's multiple companies that are big in this space, this could help shape AI to be a great tool for the industry, great tool for humanity, in a way that we can utilize it to continue to develop and grow as a society and become even better.
Yeah. Yeah, I think there is some truth to like the actual form that they're creating. They don't want AI to get out of control and screw
Right.
people over because that will hurt their business, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But there's probably a secondary or
It,
tertiary benefit of being able to see who's playing in the market.
mhm.
So,
Yeah. I mean, like like we've said, they have their own agendas. And so their agendas may not be in line with society
yeah,
and humanity. So it will be interesting to see where this goes.
yep, I agree. I agree.
All right. Well, that is all that we have for you all tonight. We want to thank you all for sticking with us and for your support with the channel. So please make sure, if you liked this video, give us a thumbs up. It really helps with our channel and the algorithm. If you disliked it, well, that other button seems to do all right as well. Um, Make sure you send it to somebody you dislike. And as always, make sure you ring-a-ling that ding-a-ling button so you never miss any new content that comes onto the channel. So until next time, have a great evening and stay classy.
Peace.